Welcome to Trading Lounge and the European indices for Friday, October the 28th, and starting with the DAX on the daily chart here, just to give you a little bit of insight for markets in general. We have seen Google move down and make a new low below here. We've seen Microsoft and a few others move quite deeply down here. A lot of the big tech stocks, we figured that they would be the top on the turn for this particular corrective rally, and those big tech stocks have moved down. The question is will they pull the rest of the market down with them? So one of the things that we could sort of use today is that, well, Friday, if in the US Friday the afternoon session ends up being bearish, well then Monday's likely to follow through on that. And I think just understanding that basic idea, that would help you be on the short side. If Friday turns out to be a bullish day, and bullish in the morning, then you'd kind of wait to short. And if it was bearish in the afternoon, then you could look for short positions that way. But if it was bearish in the morning and bearish in the afternoon, well, then you know we're going into we've got a top in turn for the European markets as well. So even though the market here, when we look at it at face value, we can see that it's moving up, it's trying to find support on the 13,000, it's in an uptrend, we should be going with that, but because of the US markets looking a bit weaker, the NASDAQ and its constituents pulling the market down, we need to heed that warning, and we also need to look for tops in these markets. So be it right or wrong, if we just, what I wanted to do today is for the DAX is just consider a top being in play at the moment. And we're going to come down from this point. Is that true? Well, buggered if I know, but I think that there's a good possibility of it, and if it's going to turn now, well then we need to be all over it, and we also need to find ways to move in on the downside with this. How far can it come down? Is it just a correction thing that the NASDAQ's bringing it down for a little bit, then they'll move back up? I don't know that. Anything is possible. My job was really just to understand, find the best way we could label this correction here. Now, in a conservative way, I can label it as the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave up here. And we can label in a C wave, we're looking for 5 waves. So we can go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then get 5 waves out of this and have a top in play there. So in a conservative way, I can count a top in place. And we're looking at that yesterday, having one more little push up for the DAX, and that's happened. And now it's sort of... So we could say that, well, in this bigger picture here, this is the closest, largest number. If the 13,000 was breached, would probably be pretty much bearish at that point. That would be one way to consider it. So, yeah, let's just go in and, basically with the idea we can have a top in play. Let's discuss that idea. It's against the trend. Picking tops is for... it's a bit of a mugs game. So whatever you do in terms of looking to trade short, if you see that weakness, less is more. So little tiny positions and keep building those to the downside. Okay, so I think we can go to 10K here on this, and then 2. So yeah, look, this is it from the low here. Looking at this as an A wave and a B wave, and I kind of like it as a B wave. It's big and it's ugly, like simple, complex, simple, or simple, complex, and more complex, as the guideline of alternation goes in Elliott terms. I understand that that wave 1 can also sit here, even better still actually, but the problem with this is wave 4 overlaps wave 1 here. So this is more like a question of 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 to the upside. But as a wave 2 here, it's really big and ugly, Wave 2 is normally simple and sharp like this. Wave 4 is big and ugly like this, but it has overlapped. But that could just be a sign of weakness, So anyway, it does break an Elliott rule, so one box unticked. The move up through here will take a more detailed look at this, but in a nutshell, we've got 1 and 2 here, and then we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 the third wave, fourth wave, fifth wave. Pretty small fifth wave in compared to wave 1 here, and so on. So yeah, I mean, look, the trend is up. It's got good support, reasonable support. It comes down and testing it here. So what I wanted to talk about is that, yes, I could easily extend this count to the upside and keep on counting. That's never a problem for me. But here lies a count that can count as completed, and we are seeing the US markets roll over. Will this roll over? Well, we need a little bit of evidence for that. So my thing was that we don't have 5 waves down from the top here, but let's just say that the market comes down here again. Even if the market sort of has got this rally going on here, but if it does come back down and test the 13 again, then it's more than likely to be bearish. So when it does come down to the 13, there will be a bounce here. If you could see the bounce as a corrective rally, you should be able to short the B wave at that point. Probably won't go that high, so it'll come back up to see those lows there. It'll probably come back and check that supply at that point. But what I wanted to talk about is when it actually, if and when it comes through here, then we want that low there. That would be your sort of safe short trade to the downside at that point, because it would have come down to, a bit too far at this point. Well, that's not so as well, actually. I mean, it's still high risk at this point because we're against the we're trading against the wind here, so to speak, the trend. And normally quite often we would see the arrival here, the reaction, and then the first high above the level, then a large ABC pattern here, and then moving up off there. So yeah, I mean, picking the top here is a mug's game, but I think that we do need to discuss it because of what's going on in the other markets. So without going through all the stocks that have been crashing, here's the NASDAQ here. I know that's really messy, but I just want to point out it came right down to from that low to that high. It came down to its 61.8%, and it has overlapped this here. Now I could look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4 and going up for 5 here, and and then an ABC back again, and we're actually in a bullish market, Pete. You've got this totally wrong. That's possible, but what I'm looking for, like I said, Google's taken this low out here, so I'm using that as a sort of a sign from the market gods that we can come down lower. So yeah, we need to sort of discuss this. So we're going to go in a little bit further onto this is how I've counted this to the upside here, from wave 4 as 1 and 2, then 1 and 2 here, and then 3 here, and then 4 here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 the third wave. Yesterday we're here looking for the 4th wave, and we've got a bit of a dodgy 5th wave up here for this. Now, like I said, I don't have 5 waves here. It could be down for 1 and back for 2, and down for 1 and back for 2, and then just keep going up. And like I say, if Friday closes, Friday in the US closes strong or whatever, and we go up, well then we'll look to go up further. But I'm kind of more interested in that if we do have a top in place, what is it going to look like here in all of this? So we could look at this as down for 1 here, back for 2, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here for down for 1 and back for 2 here. All I'm saying is that if it comes back down to here, then it's likely that we've got a top in place. And if it does come down to here, there's going to be some type of little ABC pattern that will probably come back up and hit this supply level through here at 13.1, and then come down again here and have another little bounce and come through here and retest that, may come back above the level, whatever, and might even be a couple of retests in here or something, before it drops again. So the idea would be that if you do see it come back down to here, to get that B wave, to put in a very, very small position, and then a couple of small positions if you see it being bearish down here. But don't overtrade. Just keep them very, very small. And yeah, that's all I really wanted to talk about. If we do get that turn down, then this is just sort of one idea that we can look at. And if it is going to go down, we do have a trend, well then we're going to be taking all this this, you know, the distance that we'll be looking at, coming back to this 10k one here, you know, it's quite a long way, isn't it? So we'll be taking these lows out down here. So having a little few tiny positions in here, there's not going to break the budget or anything, and we just keep building down through this side of it. Yeah, then, you know, we possibly could be way down here at this point, you know. We'll take that low out here if that was the case. So it's kind of exciting. Is this the top? I don't, you know, sometimes it takes me to, if I'm putting money in the market at the tops, and I've got a bit in, but just very, very, very small amounts, you know, just in case it does turn, then I can just keep adding to them, you know. But we're trading against the trend, so we're going against the probability of the trend at this point. So we just need to be a little bit careful. Okay, so from I'm going to go from, I think we're at 2k or something. I was going to go into 1k and 100 ticks where we normally sort of hang out. 20, plenty. So we've got this wave B here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And yeah, I know it overlaps, and you know it's not a good look, but it looks like a fourth wave. You know, that's the beauty of it. You know, and yeah, and then counting this up here. Now, is this counted correctly? This is where we were yesterday. So we were looking for that little ABC and then a move to the upside. It has broken this low here. You know, I think that's kind of interesting as well. In that, you know, I probably could look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. That would be another way to look at it. So like I said, I can build things to the upside, but I always count in the most conservative view, because that way I'll get my tops and bottoms you know, I won't miss it. If I'm getting the most conservative 5 waves I can from here to here, well then I could say to myself, well, this is a possible top here, so I need to be careful. I need to be able to work this to the downside and so on. If it's not going to be that, well then I'll go to the next thing and I'll go, oh, can I look at that as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 in here? How does this sit? Well, that doesn't sit well. Can I put wave 1 down here? How does that work? Have I got 5 waves to there? And so on. You know, I can build it one step at a time, but we are looking for tops. Like I said, you know, some of these big tech stocks have pulled the market down, and it'll become a balanced scale weight thing for the other ones to eventually follow. You know, I mean, Amazon came down pretty hard today as well. You know, so you know, Google, Apple, Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, you know, these big stocks, they've just crashed. So, you know, it could pull these other markets down as well. So, yeah, so that's it really for this. So, yeah, the 13,000 is the resistance. One more, because at the moment, it's a nice little ABC pattern here. I have to say, as a C wave, it's a little bit sharp. You know, and this sharp move down here has felt the effects of what happened in the US markets, you know. So let's see, we really want to basically have this, in one way or another, you want some sort of classic trading levels pattern down here, retesting and then shorting the lows in that way, you know. Okay, so with that said, we move across to the EUROSTOXX, the same, but an A wave, a B wave, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and then going up for 5. So once again, the same sort of thing here as well. So far as I'm concerned, I can quite easily count the 5 waves up here. It all looks pretty good. And in this case here, we've got, I don't know which is the low. It's probably better suited to an ABC at that point. Looks like an ABC to that point. If I include that, that would be 5 waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe I need to do that in there. A little bit low on pattern there. I can see that that's 1 and 2 here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, probably 4 and 5 here for that. So I'm not getting 5 waves down here. I'm getting this sort of ABC pattern here. So we certainly can go up here. We can go up further. That's kind of the headwinds there for that. I mean, if it tests these lows again here, what's this, some sort of trend line, is it? Yeah. So if it tests these lows again here, then it's kind of getting weaker at that point. You can kind of see too, you know, that, well, from this nice accumulation process, we've had this strong move, and we've had these strong moves as well. And then from this point, they've just been getting less and less and less, and we're getting, you know, overlapping wave structures. Not that, I mean, it's fine, but I can sort of see that it creeping to the upside, you know. So even if it moved up, there might be just one more high here, you know, because that's what I'm kind of looking at in the currencies as well, that there can be another little high in the euro and the pound, and another low in the US dollar. So maybe I've messed this up, and there isn't just one more high. So what I'm talking about here today, we may need to be talking about the same thing again, you know, after the Friday. So it'll be a bit of a rinse and a repeat about, you know, looking to be short again. But at this point, short under here would be the go at this stage. And if it does make a new high, well, then we've got to go through this process again. We've got to confirm 5 waves to the downside, and then, you know, keep looking for that top. And we'll see how the US market, where the US markets are within all of this as well. So this is the FTSE here. Now, with the FTSE, I can look at the same as we do with the other markets. Well, no, we can't really, because I'm looking at this as an A and a B and a C wave here for the A wave, and then an A, B, C here. I can't look at this as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here. I have to look at it as an ABC pattern. And the thing here is that this is very much how a lot of the big EUROSTOXX, the tech stocks have played out. We looked at it on the A wave, the B wave, and then the C wave here. And, you know, that's the same with some of them a bit messy, like Google. We've got an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave. So this really seems to be, the you know, the thing with these stocks, you know, and it's the same with all of them, an A and a B and a C for Microsoft here, you know, coming down deep here. So that's what we're sort of looking at, and the rest of them pretty much the same. So looking at these as an A wave and a B wave is correct. It's like, well, how do we count this, you know? So yesterday in here we thought, well, okay, let's just keep counting it as a bullish count. So we can look at that as 1 and 2. Then we can look at this as 1 and 2 here, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's, and then we got little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So we're looking for that yesterday. I think we're in here somewhere, weren't we? So we got that there, and okay. So we can look at this wave 4 here. Yes, it's overlapping and all the rest of it. But will we be going up again, going into 5 and then 4 and then 5 here, and then rolling over? Will this market hold up a little bit longer than the others, you know, that type of thing? The 7,000 here, once it becomes, you know, resistance here, then, you know, I mean, we can short. I mean, yesterday we looked at shorting below this low here, you know, that can stand. You could probably, you know, if everything went haywire and this went straight down, then you'd still just need to wait for that first retest there to short at that point, or that's what that would sort of mean at that point, and then you can look to short. Once that low comes into place, then you can look to short it on the second time round, you know, be something like that. Yeah, so anyway, it's good that we're working with that large number there. So when we look at the currencies here, this is the US dollar, so we'll look at the euro and what's the name afterwards. This is not actually the high here, this is the high. But it does count kind of nice as an A wave, and because it counts quite nicely as 5 waves, better than a corrective wave. You'd have to force a corrective wave in there. So the A wave and ABC for the B wave, and then 1 and 2 in here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, fourth wave, and fifth wave. So kind of nice as an A and a B and a C, but I realise that's not the high. So it is possible to put wave 1 over here and then another wave 2 over here, but we don't need to do that dance just yet. But just pointing out my mistakes and other possibilities and things. But as far as the crow flies, I'm having a little bit of trouble with this, and just wanted to talk about it. I have gone through all that in detail, so I'm very happy with wave 1 and 2. Box ticked, move on. This one here as 1 here and 2 here, all good. This third wave down here doesn't really fit with everything, because if I have to do this, then I have to put like wave 4 in here and wave 5 here. But if there's a top in the indices, for example, then we'd probably have a bottom here, and I would have to. But there's such a small wave 4. That's what I'm trying to say. You know, it's smaller than wave 2 here. So is that it? You know, I was sort of more thinking about having, you know, another move down. And looking at, but it's even hard to count it at this too, you know. I mean, it looks like I would need to count, if I just pull this out of the way, and this, it looks like this is the third wave here, and this would be the fourth wave here, and then we would have the fifth wave of the third here somewhere, and then the fourth, and then the fifth wave down. So this would count as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's kind of got the right look and feel about it at that point, you know. So 1 and 2 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 the third wave. Fourth wave is about 38.2% where it is. So the fifth wave will be short because it needs to be sort of roughly like wave 1 here. And then we would have this wave 4. So we'll just map this out here, and then we'll just break it down a bit further. So this wave 4 would be a little bit more time consuming, and then we would have wave 5 down. That's how it sort of would have the right look and feel about it to me. So I'll just put this here, and we'll just, so that means that the euro and the pound can do the opposite here. But at the same time, I think that we need to look at copying that wave 5 here and putting it here as well. It's a bit of a long shot, it doesn't look right. So what we could do, if this was wave 3 down to this point here, we'll need to break down the problem. So we can look at wave 3 here, and it's at the 38.2% retracement level here at the moment. But also too, not just the 38.2, but it's also the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree, which would be this one. So yeah, so that's basically it here really. So I always take the top and the 38.2%. I don't know if that's right or not. But yeah, that's where the top of that supply is. So if this market moves up further than this, we could look at we could look at this as 1 and 2 here. Could look at that as the third with an ABC for the fourth and the fifth here, but I can see that it still wants to go up. But what's the important number over here would be 1130, and the reason by 1130 is important is because we would go from 11,000, which is not quite on the nose there, but 10, 20 and 30, that's all of group 1 there, and then we have the 50 here, and then we have the 80 up here, which I'm just going to put that there close enough, and then move that to the 1 because that's a minor level, and this here a bit closer to the 11 here. So as a wave 4 moving up there, it's all quite nice in that we could look at this as an impulse wave of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then an ABC back again. So the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave. We could also look at it as wave 1 here. We could do that. We could look at that as wave 1. But as a C wave here, we'd need to see it basically not find a tested support on 1130, the top of group 1 of 11,000. So if we see this market push up further up here and get support on 50, well then we'll know that it's above the 38.2%, above the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree. Could I use that? I was just looking at this here. If I could look at that in some other way, but I've still got 1 here and 2 here, which needs to play out as 3 and 4, 5 here, because that would be 1 and 2, and there'll be 3, 4, 5. Yeah, no, I think I'm okay with that. So yeah, we're just trying to confirm a turn in the markets, you know, and having wave 5 here, my problem with that is it makes this wave 4 a little bit small, but that might be the way it is, you know. This may be, you know, the other way you could kind of look at this in a way. I know it's a little bit odd, but it's kind of big here, and then quite big here, isn't it? You know, and then it's smaller here with this one, and probably not as small here, but the trends are diminishing, big, smaller, and small. So maybe the whole thing is sort of diminishing in terms of size into this point, and that's it. You know, so that could be it. It's a bit of a long shot, but we need to confirm if that's the low or not, or we're coming back down here. You know, this will help the indices, and it will also help what we look at next in terms of this is the euro here. So this is just the same as the DAX and the S&P and so on. It's got this A, B here, same as the tech stocks, you know. And because when markets are in fear, they just basically gel together and they look for inefficiencies in each other, and they're looking at each other to see what what's going on here. So that's basically what they do to that, emotionally speaking. Yeah, so here I can count from wave B here. I could look at this as 1 and 2 here, and 1 and 2 here, and then in fact I can count this up here in 3 different ways basically, but anyway, 1 and 2 and 3 here, and 4 here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can count it in different ways, but in this case I wanted to leave it as a wave 4 here. So in this instance, because I want to give it a chance, I don't want to sort of sell myself on the downside, you know. But even from the, I mean, that's very clear. That's the first impulse wave off the low, and here's wave 2. So it doesn't really matter about this at the moment. But if I label that 2 here and 3 here and coming down for the 38.2% retracement level is a bit closer to the parity here, so it's down past that. So that's kind of moved past, you know, I'm giving it enough space to move and groove. So yeah, it's like it wants to move down a little bit further in everything. So what we can do, we know that, well, the biggest number is 99 here. That's the first thing. Then between 99 and 100 here, we can do the 10 of them, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 8. But we know 5 is the second strongest number, so we'll go to 5 here, shall we? So if this was going to retest, if this was going to, it has moved, so if it moves down, if it comes back and retests the 1 here, it's going to leave this one, it's going to leave that low there exposed. So I'll put it there as a wave 4, but we know that it's way past the 38.2%. But really, this is the consolidation over here. This is where the market's got memory at this point. So let's just, if it comes down here somewhere and bounces off the 50, it may or may not go back to the 100. It might just go back to the 80 or something like that. Do you know what I mean? But I'll just put that there. I'm just talking about having a move down to the 995 and having a bounce off that and leaving that low exposed. With that low exposed, then you can look to short at that point. In terms of a bullish move, this is all, what it's doing at parity level here is all fine for a bullish move, you know, coming down, you know, trying to gain support here. There's always a fluctuation across big numbers. So yeah, it'll find support here, it'll kick it back at that point. Let's just see what that looks like. It's that exposed low that you're looking for. And then you use a classic trading level pattern. So if you're going to short it, it would be coming back over this side and coming, anyway, look for that first low below the level and then down at that point. Because you're trading against the trend, so you really need a very clear pathway that's safe. And be the same with the pound as well. So with the pound, we've got the A wave and ABC for the B wave here. You could probably count this a bit different because it's above the A wave. I could probably go wave 1 to here, then ABC for wave 2, and then 3, 4, 5. But don't go throwing stuff at me because that's way out of left field. But what we try to do here is that we try to give the market a chance to have a bit of upside, because it's not like I've got an impulse wave down here at the moment, you know. I know that this is an impulse wave, right? But this could just be the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave here for this wave 4. That would come back to the 115 here. So anything below the 115, and then we could look to short that, you know. we want a clear low below the 1.15 as the low, and then we'll get a retest of that, and then if it's breached, then you're on the short side. So this could just come down to here and go up from this point. In this case, it makes a good case for that in terms of wave 1 here and 2 here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I could squeeze it all up too. I could put this over here for this, and bring in wave 3 here, and then have wave 5 sitting on the top there. So you know, I can do that. It's not a big deal. I can put wave 5 here. So we're just going to see, we're just sort of, you know, we don't want to jump to conclusions. We want to move with the evidence, and it's always, if you're working with the evidence, it's a bit more stable, but you don't get the best price. You know, there's always you know, that thing about when you, how do you want your job? Do you want quality, or do you want price or speed or something like that? You know, you can't have 3 of them, but you can have 2 of them. So yeah, so we've got a long trade here. We talked about taking money off the table yesterday. I've moved the stop to here. So the stop to here really would be the first low below the level. Once you got that first low below the level, then you can put your stop in there, right? That's what that means in a way. So if you're not long, if you're not short, not long, you can be short at that point. This will come down to here further. So if you wanted to just get out now, that's cool as well. So I'll leave all that up to you. And that's that really. So let's see what the market gods deliver on Friday today. Are we looking at a bullish market, or are we looking at a bearish market for the Friday? Because that's going, if it's bearish, if the US is bearish in Friday afternoon session, we can expect Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday all to be bearish. So understanding that can be can give you a little bit of an edge. Alrighty, enjoy the weekend. Cheers.